Well, hello, good afternoon. If you're watching this, it's because you are studying level 2 English in a Instituto Tecnológico de Culiacán. And well, right now I'm going to show you the exercises and the classes that we have worked on the previous 2 Saturdays, which are the last units of the book English, World English 1. So we started with this tongue twister. Then we move on to the topic lifestyle. So by the end of this session, these are the objectives of this session. First, we are going to learn how to give advices on healthy habits using modals such as could, ought, should, must, have to. Then we are going to compare lifestyles using comparatives with ER termination with more, less, and fewer. Then we are going to ask about lifestyles using questions with how. And finally, we are going to give a brief introduction to present perfect, reviewing the topic past participle. So first I start with this image. In this image, you have to tell me what you see. So some students, they notice that these people they are cycling. This is sunbathing. This person is watching TV. She's eating lots of sugar. Then we have these three plates with food. It seems that they are balanced. So here the word is eating a balanced diet. Here we have a little girl reading a book. So the word for this is reading a book. Here we have this girl, which is who is sniffing cocaine. So the word here is having an addiction. And then we have a person drinking water. So drinking enough water. So these are supposed to be habits, all right? So in general, we talk about habits, healthy habits and some unhealthy habits, as you can see. In this Venn diagram, this is the first exercise you are going to do. Right here, what you are going to do is just differentiate which are the healthy habits, such as reading books, unhealthy habits, which are, for example, having an addiction, and then in between, habits that are not very healthy or not unhealthy, but they depend on how often you do this, such as sunbathing or exercising. So it all depends because sunbathing, if it's with moderation, you can do it. Exercising as well, if you do enough exercise, it's healthy. So it all depends. But here we have healthy and unhealthy habits. All right. So we continue. So the instructions for this activity is that you put all the habits that you consider healthy, unhealthy, and the habits that it depends on how you use them, how you do them. All right. We continue. Let's move on. Okay. Yes, I had some examples there. For modal verbs, we are going to start seeing modal verbs. First, we have the modal verbs are these: could, should, ought, must, and have to. Modal verbs are verbs that have one specific function. For example, could, it is to make suggestions. Should and ought to, they are synonyms, they mean the same thing, and they are for giving advices. And now we have must and have to, which are to express an obligation. So for could, we have suggestions. It is when you are going to make a suggestion to a person. You are going to very subtle, very delicate way to tell a person to do something. Like you could stop smoking. Mhm. That is a possibility. You could stop smoking. Now, for giving an advice, it is a little bit stronger. It is not so delicate. It is not so subtle. But you can also say somebody, you should stop smoking. Okay, it is giving an advice, giving an advice when you tell somebody that they have to do something if they want to feel better. It is not very strong, but it's a strong still. You should stop smoking, or you ought to stop smoking. And finally, we have to express an obligation. This one is very strong because basically you are giving an order to a person, a command. You must, or you have to. You have to stop smoking, or you must stop smoking. This is something that usually a parent, a mother, or a father would say to his or her son, daughter. So these are the modal verbs, and this is how we use them. So subtle, very soft, could. A little bit stronger, should. And very strong, have to. Yes, as you can see here, modal verbs are verbs that have a very specific function. Make suggestions, give an advice, a command, express obligation, prohibition, etc. Let's move on. Here we have some exercises that you should do, that you have to do. So you are going to tell me how would you give this suggestion. In the case number one, we have tell your sister to stop smoking, and we have the three um, the three signs, which means very strong. So you are going to use must or have to. What would you say to your sister then? Yes, you would say you have to stop smoking, or you must stop smoking. In the second one, when you are going to tell your father to go on a diet with two signs, which is strong, you use one of these, what would you tell your father? Yes, you should go on a diet, or you ought to go on a diet. Please continue the next four on your own. The instruction here is that on your notebook, you complete them. You can also go to the workbook in page 125 to complete the exercise if you want to practice. So by now you should pause the video and do this activity. In case that you already finished, I'm going to show you the answers. So you could stop watching television. Number 4, you should do more exercise, or you ought to do more exercise. Number 5, you could get more sleep. And number 6, you have to stop eating sugar, or you must stop eating sugar. Let's go to the next one. Now, this is open. This is free for you. You are given some cases here, 6 different cases. In these cases, you have to tell me what advice would you give to these persons. So in the first case, we have Aisha wants to lose weight. What would you say to Aisha? In my case, I will tell her, you could see a nutriologist. Number 2, you wants to be on the Olympic swimming team. What would you tell to you? In my case, I would tell her, you should train a lot. The third one, Arata works too much. What would you tell to Arata? Which advice would you give her? In my case, I would tell her, you should ask for vacations. And so on. Yours have to be different from mine answers. So this is open for you. And in case you want to practice, I recommend you to go to page 125 to see the exercise, which is similar to this one, if not the same one. And we are going to move on right now. So these are questions with how. How often do you exercise? How old is your grandmother? How much junk food do you eat? How long do you think you will live? And number 5, how many cigarettes have you smoked? These questions are related to lifestyle. And these questions, they have in common that all of them use the word how in order to ask a question. But they are different. Here, we ask how often. We refer how often do you exercise? Always, never, sometimes, every day. In the next one, the second one, how old is your grandmother? When we say how old, we mean the age. Is your grandmother 60 years old? Is she 80, 70? Number 3, how much junk food do you eat? Here we mean the amount of junk food. The amount is not a quantity that you can count. It's an uncountable quantity. You can say, oh, I eat a lot of junk food or just a little bit of junk food. The next one, how long? Right here, we are asking for a period of time. How long do you think you will live? You can say, I think I will live for 30 more years, or for 80 years, for 50 years. And the last one, how many cigarettes have you smoked? How many? We ask for a quantity, as well as in the number 3, how much? But here is how many. How much is for uncountable? How many is for countable? You can count cigarettes. You can say 3, 4, 5, 1, or 0. You can go to page 129 to practice this one. Let's move on. Right here we have a text which you have to read and answer these 3 questions. So please, you can pause the video right here. You can read the text. After you read the text, you should come to these questions and answer. You can pause the video whenever you need, so you can go and answer these questions. Moving on, I'm going to explain a little bit about simple past. Simple past, it is a tense that we already saw. This is about situations and or actions that started and finished in the past. So in this timeline, you can see we have past, present, future. We are located here in present all the time. So when we use simple past, we are talking about something that is in the past and it stays in the past. Something that happened in the past and has no consequences or results in the present. Example, Susanna walked her dog yesterday. Walked is a regular verb because it finishes with ed. So Susanna walked her dog yesterday. That is something that happened yesterday and there are no consequences in the present. Right here, the exercise is that you are going to transform these verbs to simple past. And in the ones that we have in simple past, you transform them in simple present. And you continue. And you continue and you finish in all of them. And you can pause the video right now and do the exercise on your notebook. Okay, after we finished practicing simple past, I'm going to introduce past participle. Past participle is a way of conjugating verbs in which situations and or actions that started in the past have consequences that continue in the present. So, in difference to simple past, in simple past, there are no consequences. In past participle, there are consequences that continue in the present right now. So, simple past of break will be broke. Past participle is broken. Took is simple past. Taken is past participle. Walked is simple past. And walked as well is past participle. Past participle are used for all perfect tense forms of verbs and in the passive voice in English. For regular verbs, we normally add ed to form its past participle. Unfortunately, for irregular verbs, there are no rules and it is just a matter of practice. So right now, I think that you maybe have a lot of information to process. Don't worry about it. We are just going to go straight to the exercises. To make it easier and more simple for you, we have 3 ways of conjugating a verb: present, past, and past participle. Present is play, simple past is played, and past participle is played. With regular verbs, as you can notice, with played, walked, cooked, and watched, we just add ed in both simple past and past participle. So it means that they remain the same. Watch, watched, watched. Cook, cooked, cooked. Walk, walked, walked. But with irregular verbs, it doesn't have a rule. We don't follow a rule. There are no patterns. There is no structure. We have to memorize the simple past and the past participle. So in the case of take, in simple past is took, past participle is taken. In the verb run, simple present is run, in past is ran, and in past participle is run once again. In the verb sleep, in present is sleep, simple past slept, past participle it's slept. And now we have swim, which in simple past is swam, and in past participle is swum. So this is just a matter of practicing and reviewing. Right here, I have this list of verbs conjugated in present, past, and past participle with regular and irregular verbs. The irregular verbs are the ones that we are going to struggle more with. So I recommend you to have a screenshot or a picture of this list of verbs, and so you can look at your verbs whenever you need to conjugate any verb in simple past or past participle. So right now, we are going to start with the next class, which is the class of Saturday, 6th of June. June 6th, Saturday. All right, so today we are going to see present perfect. So before we start, I need to ask you, have you ever ridden a horse? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Have you ever gone on a school trip? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Have you ever failed a subject? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Have you ever broken a bone? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Have you ever taken a ride on a roller coaster? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Present perfect. In present perfect, we talk about actions that happened in the past, but have a consequence in the present. So this is very similar to the explanation that I gave you about past participle. Past, present, future. This is present, and in present perfect, we always have consequences that continue in the present. An example is, we have gone on a school trip 7 times. There is a formula to form present perfect sentences. We first have a subject, then have and has, then a verb in past participle, which is the tense that we just saw, and finally a complement. Here we have some examples. We have gone on a school trip 7 times. I have taken 2 rides on roller coaster. And María has done all of her homeworks. Aquí en español sería algo bastante similar a los enunciados como hemos tomado 7 viajes escolares o hemos ido a 7 viajes escolares. En la número 2 sería algo parecido a yo he tomado 2 paseos en montañas rusas. Y en la número 3, María ha hecho todas sus tareas. Eso significa, aquí usamos have y has como la palabra has, han, hemos en español, que es para hablar de situaciones o acciones que sucedieron en el pasado y que continúan en el presente con consecuencias o resultados. Yo he viajado a diferentes países. Esto es algo que sucedió en el pasado, pero sigue teniendo consecuencia en el presente, porque en el presente yo puedo decir, yo he viajado a 7 países. En el presente, la consecuencia es que yo conozco 7 países, pero posiblemente estas vacaciones yo viajo a otro país diferente y entonces yo diré, yo he viajado a 8 países. Entonces el resultado ahí cambia y el resultado en el presente sería que ahora conozco 8 países. Es algo bastante similar. Let's move on. We use this tense, present perfect tense, in different situations. In finished actions, like she has lost her wallet. Ella ha perdido su billetera. In recent completed actions, I have just finished my project. Justo he acabado mi proyecto, perdón. Unfinished actions, acciones que no han terminado. I have lived in Paris for 5 years. He vivido en París por 5 años. Multiple actions at different times. I have seen David several times. He visto a David varias veces. Changes over time. I have become more interested in medical issues. Me he vuelto más interesado en problemas médicos. Accomplishments. Man has walked on the moon. El hombre ha caminado en la luna. Accomplishments significa logros. Life experiences, finally. Have you ever eaten sushi before? ¿Alguna vez has comido sushi antes? Yes, it's unbelievable, but in some countries, sushi is not very popular as in Mexico. Okay, so we are going to focus on life experiences. And here we have five different sentences using present perfect. Sophia has read the Harry Potter series 3 times. Marco has run a marathon once. Iram has ridden a scooter before. Isabella has fallen off a horse before. Victor has watched a professional soccer game. In order to add more meaning to your sentences, si quieres agregar más significado a tus enunciados, you can also add an adverb. Pueden agregar un adverbio de tiempo, justo entre has y el verbo. En este caso vamos a irnos directamente a los ejemplos. I have never ridden a horse. Yo nunca he montado un caballo. I have never ridden a horse. Then, she has always liked K-pop. A ella siempre le ha gustado el K-pop. We have carefully fixed the TV. Nosotros hemos cuidadosamente arreglado la televisión. So always, never, carefully, often, rarely, those are adverbs that you can use. Now, how important adverbs are. Aquí el significado cambia cuando agregas o no agregas un adverbio. No es lo mismo decir Sofía has read the Harry Potter series 3 times to say Sofía has never read the Harry Potter series 3 times. Aquí es básicamente la importancia de agregar un adverbio, porque el agregarlo o no agregarlo puede cambiar por completo el significado de nuestro enunciado. Tenemos el ejemplo de Sofía. Sofía ha leído Harry Potter 3 veces. O también podríamos decir, Sofía nunca ha leído Harry Potter 3 veces. Entonces, el agregar o no, u omitir el adverbio nunca, en este caso, por completo nos cambiaría el significado de nuestra oración. Let's move on. Now, I want you to tell me what statement is present perfect and what statement is simple past. Number 1, Sarah lived in Boston for 5 years. Sarah lived in Boston for 5 years. Number 1. Does she still live in Boston or not? ¿Ella aún vive en Boston o ya no? Sarah lived in Boston for 5 years. And number 2. Sarah has lived in Boston for 5 years. Sarah ha vivido en Boston por 5 años. Does she still live in Boston? ¿Aún vive en Boston? ¿En cuál de las dos vive aún en Boston y en cuál de las dos no? Exactly. In the second one. The first one is simple past. She lived in Boston for 5 years. And the second one is present perfect. Sarah has lived in Boston for 5 years. It means that she still lives in Boston in the present. So right now, what you are going to do is to complete these sentences with the correct words, with the correct tense, simple past or present perfect. In the first one, when I was a child, I, space, swim a lot. Number 2, so far this week, we, space, study a lot. I'm going to help you with the first 2. When I was a child, past, I swam a lot. So we use simple past because it's something that happened in the past and it's not happening anymore. Number 2, so far, hasta ahora, so far this week, we have studied a lot. Because we are talking about something that has results in the present. So far this week, we have studied a lot. Hasta ahora, durante esta semana, hemos estudiado mucho. So what you have to do is continue with the next examples, with the next 6 examples. I recommend you that you do it on your notebook. So you're supposed to pause the video or make a screenshot and then answer on your notebooks. But let's suppose that you already finished, so I'm going to show you the answers. So the one for Theo. Theo has been very sick recently. Theo ha estado muy enfermo recientemente. Number 4. I had a terrible headache yesterday. Tuve un terrible dolor de cabeza ayer. Number 5. It has rained a lot lately. Number 6. They got married 10 years ago. Number 7. I have gone to a Balboa Park many times. And number 8. My family took a vacation last year. So right now, what you are going to do is creating your own sentences. Please create 5 sentences using present perfect, following this structure. First, the subject, then have or has, past participle, and finally, a complement. Moving on, now we are going to talk about consequences, about first conditional. Este tema es un poco complejo. Realmente es simple, pero la explicación es un tanto compleja y voy a requerir del español para explicarles un poco. Primero vamos a hacer esta unión entre vocabulario con sus significados. Number 1, budget. What is a budget? A budget is a spending plan. It's when you have money and you plan how to spend it, how many days you are going to spend the money. Number 2, borrow is when you ask somebody to give you money. Number 3, expenses is the amount of money that you spend. Creo que en español eso se le llama gastos. Number 4, interest rate. The percentage charged when you borrow money. Son los intereses. Es el extra que te cobran cuando tú pides un préstamo o cuando sacas, por ejemplo, algo a crédito en alguna tienda. Suben el precio. Esos son los interest rates. Number 5, save. It is basically saving money, to put money in the bank for the future. Or not necessarily in the bank, maybe under the bed. Next one, overspend, is when you spend too much money, more than the money you need to spend. Next one, income. Esto en español creo que se le llama ingresos. Is the amount of money that you receive regularly. And finally, lend. It is to give someone money. Esto es algo curioso porque en español usamos la palabra prestar o pedir prestado. Borrow es pedir prestado. Is when you ask somebody to give you money. Y lend sería como prestarle a alguien. It is to give someone money. Next one. We are going to start working with conditionals. Condicionales, usan esta palabra muy importante, if. If es el equivalente de si en español. Cuando decimos, si yo compro una televisión, no voy a poder pagar la renta este mes. Es un ejemplo. If I buy a new TV, comma, I will not have money to pay rent. Next one, if they borrow some money, comma, they will be able to buy a new house. And finally, if she works in vacations, she will have money for her trip to Asia. Aquí, como podemos ver, tenemos dos clauses. Estos enunciados se dividen en clauses, que son como las unidades que componen a nuestro enunciado. Tenemos la primera clause, que se le llama if clause, y tenemos el segundo clause, que se le llama result clause. Esto es como un causa y efecto. Es como, si sucede esto, entonces esto va a suceder después. ¿Ok? Siempre separamos estas clauses con una coma. En la primera clause usamos if, then the subject, I, they, she, Juan Carlos, we. Then we have a verb in present tense, buy, borrow, works, and then we have a complement. The complement or the object that takes the verb. If I buy a new TV. Then we have the comma to separate from the other clause, and then we put the subject once again. If I buy a new TV, comma, I will not have. So we have the subject, then we have the verb in future tense, which means will and verb. Will not have, and the complement, money to pay rent. If I buy a new TV, I will not have money to pay the rent. So now please create 4 more examples following this structure. When you finish your 4 examples, you're ready to move on to the next page. Next page. Right here we have, okay, right here we have some if clauses and some result clauses. What you are going to do is matching them. I'm going to help you with the first one. If you borrow money from the bank, you won't have enough money to pay the rent. I don't think so. We know the interest. I think it's this one. Yes, it's correct. If you borrow money from the bank, the interest rates will be high. Si pides dinero prestado del banco, los intereses van a ser altos. So now what you have to do is matching the other 4. If you save money, if you save some money every month, what is going to happen? If you lend money to your sister, what is going to happen? If your expenses are bigger than your income, what is going to happen? If we eat at home instead of in a restaurant, what is going to happen? So please pause the video and try to match them. Okay, so let's suppose that you already did this. So I'm going to give you the answers. If you save some money every month, you will have enough money to buy a new computer. Next one, if you lend money to your sister, she won't return the money until the end of the month. If your expenses are bigger than your income, you won't have enough money to pay the rent. And finally, if we eat at home, if we eat at home instead of in a restaurant, we will have enough money to go to the theater. And there it is. So right now, I'm going to explain you something very important. We are going to talk about the evaluation, the speaking evaluation and the writing evaluation. For the speaking evaluation, I will need you to create an interview. You are going to create 6 questions about lifestyles, all right? Right here, I'm giving you 4 different examples. The number 1, do you consider yourself a healthy person? Number 2, how many hours do you sleep? Number 3, do you follow a diet? And number 4, do you avoid doing certain activities? So you have to create 6 questions. It can be different from these ones, or maybe you can take 1 or 2 from the ones that I'm showing you right now, but you have to create 6 questions, and you are going to do an interview. You are going to interview me when I have the session for the speaking exam with you, which I am going to let you know in the WhatsApp group that we have. So please go start creating your 6 questions. And for the writing exam, you are going to write an opinion paragraph. An opinion paragraph, it means an Oreo paragraph. You are going to write an opinion paragraph about the lifestyle of a person that you know. In this case, I'm giving you an example. I wrote about my sister, okay? So an opinion paragraph, it's also known as Oreo paragraph, como la galleta Oreo. Yo así le puse este nombre para que sea más fácil de recordar. First, in our paragraph, it is divided in 4 different sentences or 4 different parts. The first part is the opinion. The opinion is like an introduction where you state your general opinion. Number 2, the R, it's for reason. You have to provide your reasons for having that opinion. Then we have the explanation. You are going to explain the reasons. And finally, we have one more time, opinion. You are going to restate your opinion in order to conclude, which is basically like a conclusion. And in my example, my title is My Unhealthy Sister. Opinion, the opening sentence. basically my introduction. My sister Milka is not a very healthy person. In my opinion, she should change some habits. That is my opinion. Next one, reason. I think this is because there are many of her habits that are considered unhealthy. That is my reason to think that she is unhealthy. The next one, the explanation. Right here, this is the core of the paragraph. Este es el núcleo del párrafo, because here is where you are going to explain. This is substance. You provide explanation for having that opinion. First, she rarely eats fruits and vegetables. Also, she goes to sleep very late playing video games or doing something on the internet. Besides, she never goes out, not even to exercise. Esto es muy similar a los párrafos que yo normalmente les enseño en clase, que es introducción, detalles y conclusión. Aquí la explicación serían los detalles. Ajá. And finally, we have the opinion once again, which is basically the conclusion. Those are unhealthy habits. I think Milka should change her habits if she wants to have a good health. Y eso fue todo. Ese fue mi opinion paragraph, mi párrafo de opinión, usando la estructura Oreo. So you can follow this model, this example that I made for you in order to create your own. And this will be your writing evaluation. And that will be it for today. So this is the way we finished the course. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye and take care. Please continue practicing English. That will be it.